Well, the year is coming to an end. You know what that means. That's right, list season.
We're gonna be talking about
Applebee's.
We'll be talking about
Shaking ass on my thigh shape.
Do you think that's funny, butthead? Do you find it amusing that we'll be talking about
Rolling down in the deep.
Yes, we're also gonna be talking about
Do a leap with the baby. Cocaine and drinking with your friends. The middle of June.
and we will definitely be spending a lot of time talking about
Smooth like butter.
Got all that? All right, here we go.
I was dancing with the devil.
Before we begin, there's a few changes that I'd like to announce. For one, you've probably noticed the title only says year-end ranking instead of year-end Hot 100 ranking. I will be using the year-end Hot 100 for 2021, but with some exceptions. For one, the 2 Christmas songs on the chart will not be part of the ranking because they're old and this is a 2021 ranking. And for another, I will be including the year-end Global 200 for 2021. But I will not be including all of it. Instead, I will only be using the songs that didn't make the year-end Hot 100 and are also not old because, again, this is a 2021 ranking. In total, we've got 169 things to rank down, and we're going to do it in 3 parts. For the first part, we're ranking up from mediocre tier to the worst. Then we'll be doing the decent tier by itself in the second part, and finally, we'll be ranking down from the good tier to the best.
Last but not least, these are not facts. They're just my opinions. And like everyone else's opinions, they are subject to change over time, so don't think you know what's really going on in these rankings. There might be some things that surprise you. All right, let's take all the bad stuff from this year out to the shed. We are taking a look at...
I hope you're miserable until you're dead.
I broke his little heart, he a crybaby.
This was right on the line of decent and mediocre. I eventually put it here because that is one irritating baby crying sound.
But I guess that's kind of the point. She wanted to make you suffer. And she succeeded.
That ain't the baby, that's my baby.
Her friends and her mom hate me.
And then there's da baby. He may be good at fucking, but 2021 would end up fucking him. I'm not gonna go far into that minefield or we'd be here all day.
But if you want to know my thoughts on the situation, I think this shitpost should sum it all up for you.
I slammed my penis in the car door.
You slammed your penis in the car door.
Usually I put something on TV.
This thing has been on the charts for the whole goddamn year, and only now is it hitting its peak. I was fine with it at first, but over time it's become one of those annoying songs that will just never go the fuck away.
Like the hook that burrows itself into your head.
Sometimes all I think about is doom, late nights in the middle of gloom.
I got my peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah, shit.
I think I called this Bieber's best song that needs less Bieber.
And that's why it's here, because the more times I heard this, the more I realized that Bieber just drags the whole thing down.
All I could want, all I could wish for.
Like, Daniel Caesar and Giveon are great on this. They sound like they belong here.
And here comes the Biebs.
I get my weed from California. That's that shit.
He just goes in and is like, yeah, I got peaches, smoke weed every day, that's that shit, yo. Just sounds more wrong to me every time I hear it. Hey, remember when Justin Bieber was photographed smoking weed and then 4chan decided to pose as believers and cut their wrists because Bieber smoked the weed?
2013 was such an innocent time, was it?
The air Haters are real, the petty is real. Might charge my ex for a feature.
The underwater sound effect in the beat is alright.
But this is just another Drake song.
I'm in love with two girls at one time and they tens.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Everybody knows my name now.
Good idea, not so good execution. I do feel for him as he pours out his heart about how hard it is being as famous as he has been since childhood.
But
I'm so lonely.
This is not how you express an emotion that deep. This is what a 10-year-old boy does when he doesn't get invited to a birthday party.
When I'm meant to be like sleeping and cocaine.
Quite frankly, this is only in Mediocre because Dua Lipa has so many other stronger singles to compare this to. Nothing against this one, I wouldn't turn off the radio if it were on, but in the stacked library of Dua Lipa, this is one that could be skipped if need be. Let's go back to 2020. Around the beginning of the year, Justin Bieber dropped what is now known as the most atrocious single of his career. And look what fucking happened. Thinking he may have put a curse on the year, he decides to try and reverse it.
so in an effort to get back to normal, Justin Bieber starts off 2021 by dropping a mediocre single.
If it's not you, it's not anyone.
I will admit this is a pretty good 80s sounding guitar, but there's little substance otherwise. If it's not you, it's not anyone. It's like he's trying to do an If I Can't Have You, I Don't Want Nobody baby for the Bryan Adams crowd.
Like, why would you do that?
Boo, you suck a nule, boo.
I've been losing friends and finding peace. Honestly, that sound like a fair trade to me.
Stuff like this is why Drake album bombs are the most infuriating of them all. This one managed to hang around long enough to make the global year end.
Look, don't invite me over if you throw another pretty party.
Okay, but what do I think of this one? I mean, Drake's singing is alright, the beat is fine, but nothing really sticks out for me. I don't think I'm going to be coming back to this one anytime soon. My mind is a blank. Permission to dance?
Permission pending.
Well, this debuted at #1 on the Hot 100 and didn't make the year end. Seems like that's about to become pretty common as we go on. This song does have a fun, joyful tone to it.
But the hook is just dumb.
We don't need permission to dance, you say? Well, good to know we can dance if we want to.
But can we leave our friends behind, though? 'Cause my friends don't dance. Regardless of them having permission or not, so...
I've encountered a lot of stuff like this on the global year end. For the most part, they sound fine, and they have decent beats to them.
This one, I don't know.
That violin sounds a little not very good to me. Sounds like it just keeps getting itself beat up by the percussion. Even while conceding that the part near the end is actually pretty cool in its own way, still, I'm not a fan of this cover. I mean, it was a good deconstructionizing attempt, I guess, but the jubilant tone of the original is what made it work. Without it, you get stuff. It's catchy and weird, but it's also, I want to say, a little too formulaic.
Like, it's one of those things that's just a little too much of what we've come to expect from Billie Eilish.
Get my pretty name out of your mouth.
Oh, okay, so I gotta censor myself when I say your name now. Good to know, I like how detailed the lyrics are, not so much how it just drags along. I've noticed a handful of songs on the 2021 year-end list that were more 2020 than anything. Go Crazy was in the top 20 of the year-end this year. That was from the goddamn summer of 2020. Was there really a reason to keep this thing around for a whole 52 weeks?
It's true, my bad habits get to you.
it sounds alright for EDM, but Ed Sheeran just doesn't sound like he's into it.
If anything, this does show that nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
Whoop it, bitch, I'm outside of some movie.
Without the meme, it's kinda weak. The sampling of Bollywood brings back some pretty bad Scott Storch flashbacks.
How you like that?
You like that? You like that?
I do not. Hey, remember in the summer of 2020 when 6ix9ine debuted at number 1, then plummeted down to 34 and was gone in 4 weeks? We all thought that would be the most embarrassing thing in Hot 100 history.
But then around the end of the year, the BTS army invited us to hold their sojus.
Life Goes On debuted at number 1 on the first week of December 2020. The second week, down to 28, not as bad. But then the third week, holy shit, it plummeted off a cliff and hard. And that was it. 3 weeks, and it went from number 1 to Gone and Forgotten About. This is a single that went to number 1 for literally no reason other than BTS stans.
And that's what you get when you let standing take over. Mediocrity on a pedestal.
The only useful thing about this is doing an Abbott and Costello bit where you ask them what their country song is and they reply with "What's your country song?" and it goes on and on and on.
I was gonna do one, but this recent Fox News clip does that bit better than I could.
You know, I was watching an episode of You where measles came up.
Wait. When did I mention measles?
I don't know. It was on You.
What was on me? What are you talking about? Right? Is Raymond even hearing what I'm saying? I never had the measles.
Was on You.
We never did a measles and vaccine episode. Is this a joke?
I know.
don't even know what you're talking about.
It was on You. It was on You.
I've never had, Raymond, I've never had measles. What are you talking about? This is stupid.
It was an episode of a show, Laura.
What's it called?
You.
What is he talking about?
It's called You.
I've never done a show on measles. I just completely give up. We gotta get
It's
on.
a show
I give up.
called You on Netflix.
There's a show called Lowering on Netflix. What are you
Never
talking
mind.
about?
I'm moving on to Adele.
Let me take you dancing. 2-step to the bedroom.
This is just blah. I will say this, it's at least better than that Bryan Adams disco song.
Yeah, remember that one?
God, can you imagine Jason Derulo covering this? I can't tell whether he'd be better or worse than the Chipmunk vocals, and that's what's really sad.
Cold, cold heart.
Hey, remember when I had this on a worst list and mentioned how it reminded me of Stars on 45? And then it turned out to be the lead single from Elton's collaboration album that he recorded during the COVID lockdown?
You never fell out of the sky.
Yeah, Elton has a new album out. It's full of songs he wrote and recorded during the quarantine, and they all have featured artists. Many of them working remotely via Zoom.
As someone who spent their quarantine making content, this is definitely inspirational to me.
It's a sin.
I didn't fully listen to it, but I took a quick glance. I like that Pet Shop Boys cover he did with Years and Years.
We don't need to be related to relate.
I also like the one he did with Rina Sawayama.
Up and down, babe.
And he did a song with Stevie Wonder that I really liked as well.
But then there's the one that he did with Young Thug.
I will always love you.
Yeah, no.
'Cause I love chasing after you.
This is a Bryan Adams song with a country singer on it. You can't convince me otherwise.
I just looked at my wrist, I got time today. Fuck it, I'm crossing the line today.
Those two lines are the only memorable thing about this. Moneybag Yo is a perfectly generic name for this very much generic rapper. There are things I like about this. I like how it interpolates that Bonnie Tyler song from the 80s.
And it's got a really good 80s guitar in it.
That's pretty cool.
But there's two lines in this that really sunk it for me.
And just a king can move on space at a time. But
queens are free to go wherever they like.
Oh wow, you know how chess works? I mean, I know chess is like an epic game of war or something, but this feels like I'm watching some epic battle in the medieval times.
And here comes the jester saying, you know, the pawns move like this, but the knights move like this. Arf, arf, arf.
I will hold on tight till the afterglow.
Oh yeah, Ed Sheeran put out a song around the tail end of 2020. I totally forgot about that one.
Because, well, there's honestly nothing for me to not forget about it. It's just there. Hey, have you heard that Sausage Rolls song with him and Elton John on it?
Sausage rolls for everyone.
Sir Elton is having quite the comeback, isn't he?
Pretty red lips working on a white claw.
Alright, I really don't want to be harping on one line, but...
Seriously, have you had this shit? It's fucking horrible. For one thing, seltzer tastes like piss enough as it is. And you're gonna add alcohol to this? Why would you do that? It fucking sucks. And you're gonna go and say, oh, but it's healthy. No, it's not. I mean, sure, it's got less calories and less carbs or whatever, but it doesn't have any nutrients. The flavors are artificial, and I can't imagine the alcohol content would be good for your liver. I'm not even gonna be drinking this. Why would I? I'm just gonna end up spitting it out. And the floor is too good for this. In fact, I can only think of one place where this belongs. Here, come, follow me. Piss water go down the hole.
Come and put that pussy on me. Don't be running from me.
Lil Baby has made some pretty good stuff recently. This ain't it.
I tell you once, I'll tell you twice.
Didn't care for it last year, didn't care for it this year. It's a shame that all the Pop Smoke songs that got big after he died aren't the drill stuff he was known for.
This ain't nothing lasts forever.
Man, what the hell happened to Luke Combs?
Wasn't he supposed to be interesting? Isn't that what everyone's been saying about him?
FM station on the outskirts.
Like, okay, we got a song called Forever After All. What do? Oh, I know. Let's list a bunch of things that are finite, because girl, my love for you is infinite, unlike those other things.
Totally clever and not hackneyed at all.
Valentino, yeah, I'll put you in the base.
Uh-huh.
What you know about us?
About as much as I know about rolling down in the deep.
Suddenly you're asking for it back.
What do you get when you combine the style of Billie Eilish with the vocals of Meghan Trainor?
Something no human being should ever have to listen to.
When you broke me.
This just drones too much for my tastes, and I don't like how pouty she sounds. It's like she's trying to write the no you of music.
I get those goosebumps every time.
When I said I would support these kinds of nightcore remixes of old rap songs, I meant in theory. The more I heard this one, the more I realized this is just blatant trend chasing.
It's like he saw what Amanbek was doing and was like, hey, I can do that.
I get those goosebumps every time.
Alright, the mediocre tier is done. But before we go to the next tier, here's a word from our sponsor.
น้ำใจใสยิ่งกว่าแก้วน้ำเบียร์บ่
เบียร์ของคนลาวคนจริงใจ
Alright, I hope you all enjoyed that. And now, let's go from the stuff that wasn't worth giving a fuck about to the shit that was only slightly less worth giving a fuck about.
I just don't like how he moans, Still did not need to be a duet with Charlie Puth. Also did not need to stick around for 62 weeks.
I hope you're happy, but don't be happier.
But at least I Hope has her hoping that her ex's new girlfriend cheats on him. This I hope you're not happier than you were is just wishy-washy. It's not, how you say, sour enough. I have heard 3 Ava Max songs, and they're all blatant copies of more interesting songs. Can this lady do anything original?
Well, she has a Christmas song. Let's see what that sounds like.
It won't feel like Christmas without you.
You are no Mariah.
Feel so holy, 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 holy.
Can't you see you're not making Christianity better? You're just making Justin Bieber songs worse. Oh, look, here's David Guetta fucking up a song by putting a bunch of trance stuff all over it.
The original sounds just fine.
All I need is your love tonight.
It's less noisy, but it's more full of life.
Hey, girls want girls where I'm from.
What we have here is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in this rambling, incoherent mess did Drake and Lil Baby even come close to anything that can be considered a rational thought. Anyone who's listened to this in full is made dumber for having heard it.
I award you bad tier, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Some things just go better together.
Okay, it's called Better Together. What do we do? Oh, I know. Let's list a bunch of things that go together. Just like you and me, girl.
Totally clever and not hackneyed at all.
Oh, you know it's not right. I will follow you way down.
I don't know if I've talked about the video.
But seriously, look at this shit.
Happy birthday!
What is this?
It's a private concert by your favorite band.
Ah! You got the Killers!
Oh, a private concert from the Killers. Not bad.
Yeah, it's not the Killers.
Who is it?
It's Imagine Dragons.
Well, that's your favorite.
Okay, if my wife wanted to surprise me for my birthday by getting me an Imagine Dragons private concert because they're her favorite band,
then to hell with finding a divorce lawyer. I'm just gonna snatch her purse and get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah, we fancy like Applebee's on a date night.
Fun fact, if you play Fancy Like on New Year's Eve at 11:57 p.m., it'll end with 19 seconds until the ball drops. And that's enough time to leave this crap in 2021 where it fucking belongs.
She's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets hard.
This gradually shrunk on me over time.
The beat is bland, and then there's this part.
Ay, 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 ay.
Ay, 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 indeed.
He's one of the good ones.
Trash.
And this is another stupid listing shit song.
He's a phone call to his parents. He's a Bible by the bed.
He's this good thing. He's that good thing. Blah, blah, blah. I guess this is what I've come to expect from imitation Carrie Underwood. A worse version of Lonely with Shawn Mendes on it. Sucks.
I'm just so glad you exist.
Well, I'm not.
I'm begging you.
You know what would be nice? If we can get some of those other Måneskin songs big over here. Come on, we can't let the Eurovision 2021 winners go the way of Kylie Minogue. First it was a terrible cover, then unable to go anywhere for about 15 years until scoring a fluke hit single, and then going back to going nowhere.
I'm just saying, we have hits being sung in Spanish and in Korean now. I don't think the language barrier is gonna be a problem anymore.
Cruise Remix Part 2. Don't think I need to say anything more than that.
Sitting here, drinking beer, talking God, amen.
Hey, remember that King of the Hill episode where Hank leaves his church because he can't sit in his favorite pew, so he gets suckered into a mega church, and then Lucky, voiced by the late Tom Petty, goes on about how he doesn't need to go to a church. He can worship his own way by drinking beer.
I'm worshiping when I'm drinking a beer, digging a hole, or fishing for trout.
Oh, that's beautiful, Lucky.
Luann, I happen to know it's asinine.
And then later on, Hank gets burned out by the megachurch, so he tries Lucky's way of worshiping.
That's what this song is.
It was like down here, up there tonight, there's folks like us.
But the difference is, King of the Hill is funny, and actually worth a shit. This doesn't make me laugh, it just makes me face palm.
And speaking of terrible drinking songs...
I spent all my money drinking on my own.
Pink and Keith Urban. Now here's a couple of acts we could have left in the 2000s and early 2010s.
And these lyrics are really bad.
I don't remember much about last night.
This is a horrible attempt at romanticizing being in a relationship with an alcoholic. I can say from experience, this is not something that should ever be romanticized.
It's not fun, it's not romantic, and trying to make it both is just plain fucked. Alright, we're in the home stretch. Let's go to the top 10 worst hit songs of 2021. Also known as the next tier.
I didn't mind this at first, but the more I listened to it, the more I realized it really does suck just as bad as all the rest.
Damn it, you've got me again, Adam Levine.
It's beautiful, it's bittersweet, you're like a broken home to me.
It's just crap. The instrumentation is beautiful and all, but the lyrics about dreaming of fucking your ex are just a mistake.
She's naked in my bed.
Something about the way Adam says she's naked in my bed just makes me cringe.
And how about that Megan Thee Stallion?
But really, I was doing just fine without you. Looking fine, sipping wine, dancing on club couches.
Her rap verse is actually pretty good because it sounds like she's telling him off.
She's saying what we're all thinking.
I do the same thing I told you that I never would.
The flaws in the lyrics just got more present with every listen. Yes, it does have a pretty cool synthy beat to it, but Overpass Graffiti has that same kind of cool synthy beat. And that one's good, so we don't need this crap anymore, I tell myself.
You stroke your throat till I make you choke, throw baby.
The title alone makes this terrible. Also, I realize choking is a common move made during sex.
But I don't really think it should be.
Don't go build a life without me, cause you're mine still.
Oh, this one got more and more grating for me as the year went on. I used to simply not give a shit about it, but now I can't fucking stand it anymore.
For one thing, the sample sucks.
You should lay it down, we'll talk about it when you up.
It's a sample-ception of that Lucid Dream song that sampled that Sting song, which was never good to begin with.
And I don't like the tone of this.
She can't see her life without me, she's so blasted.
He's egotistically telling this girl that her new man is never gonna be as good as me. I hear this and I'm like, no wonder she left. Would you want to go back to this?
I want a girl that shine like glitter, a girl that don't need no filter.
This was made in 2008 and originally gonna be released on will.i.am's Willpower album in 2013. It eventually ended up on the Black Eyed Peas 2020 comeback album.
Now, why on earth would a song like that just sit on the shelf?
Because it's irritating. Some things are just better left scrapped. Okay, we got this dull, moaning breakup song. What should we do? Oh, let's call it Arcade and fill it with video game references. Kids like video games. They'll like this.
You're fired! What is my brother paying you for?
God, those two lines are fucking stupid. I'd call it the worst 2 seconds of music in 2021, but sadly it lasts more than 2 seconds.
We just trying to catch a good time.
Oh, for the love of crying. Fuck. You having a good time now? Are ya? Are ya?
As bad as Stay was, it at least had that cool synth. This is just Leroy whining like a little bitch while strumming a stupid acoustic guitar in your ear.
Just horrible, horrible shit.
Can't make a wife out of a hoe.
Yeah, that's right. You can't make a wife out of a ho-ho. Because ho-hos are snack foods, and you can't marry a snack food.
Can't make a wife out of a hoe.
The version with Miley sucks too. Man, I really want to root for Miley Cyrus, but only a fool would think that she or anyone else would save this.
Shit sucks, with or without you.
Without you. Without you.
Alright. Are you ready?
I hope they fuck you up inside your head.
Are you ready for the worst hit song?
It's just the way.
I love you just the way God made you.
Yeah, surprise of the century. When I had this on a worst list in the early part of the year, I was already pegging it as not only the worst hit song of 2021, but the worst thing about 2021. A year that already gave us a temper tantrum at the Capitol just 6 days in.
And the shape of the face that you make when you're taking a shot.
Sadly, it would not go on to be the worst thing of a 2021 that also gave us Low Tax killing himself for no reason other than to spite his ex-wife that he was abusing, and Chris Chan, seriously, what the hell were you thinking? That's your mom, you sick fuck!
But I'm happy to report that it is indeed the worst hit song of 2021.
And that I love you just the way God made you, girl, he don't make mistakes.
This is horrible. For one thing, God don't make mistakes is an excuse for bigots to be transphobic. And for another, Billy Joel did a better Just the Way You Are song. And that's because he's talking about how he just simply likes you for you, without telling you what's wrong with you.
What you call your imperfections, I call beautiful, babe.
When you're telling her about her imperfections, saying you love her just the way she is only makes it even more condescending.
Word of advice from an eternal dateless wonder. Do not tell your partner about their imperfections. Ever. Not even when they're feeling down. Sometimes it's better to just shut the fuck up.
Bust it, bust it, bust it, bust it. Is you fuck it? 2 shots, fuck it.